So just as a reminder, we started out with a problem in practice, and then we came up with a research question. We built that into a PICO question. You've written a purpose statement, and then you even started looking into the literature and writing little annotated bibs, and you're going to talk more about that this week. Just kind of as an FYI, sometimes in qualitative research, the researcher might do their literature review at the end because they don't want the literature to have any bias on their findings. But we're not worried about that with your projects. You also might have some hypothesis for what you're finding. Remember, that is an educated guess. We talked in class about the setting as far as where the research is taking place, and there should be a really good description of the setting in your literature review for the research that you're looking at, because ideally, if the researcher is writing the report in a publication, any of us should be able to read it and be able to duplicate the study or replicate the study. So that would be really important to have a good idea of what the setting is. With data collection, we are actually collecting numbers if we're doing quantitative.
This slide actually
or
gives
we
you
are
the big
collecting
overview.
words if we're doing qualitative.
There are self-reports,
it is something that's done in
observations,
both
and
types of
biophysiologic
studies,
measures,
and
that we
it
can use
varies
for data collection.
with the amount of structure
With
and how we can
self-reports, the
quantify
unstructured
it.
and semi-structured,
obviously,
we're
if
really
you're
talking
using
about
something that
qualitative
adds up numbers
interviews.
that you can do
And I will get
statistical
into this
analysis
more as
on,
we go on.
that is
We also
quantifiable.
use a lot of
Whereas
self-report methods
if you're doing
in nursing
a
research
qualitative
with surveys,
study,
questionnaires,
then
and the scales,
your
because we're trying to get more quantitative
results
data.
aren't quantifiable,
And then we can
you
use
might be
Q
using
sorts
semi-structured
as well.
or
And I'll talk
unstructured
about each
interview
of those
questions.
individually.
Observations
Your
can
data
also be
collection
unstructured or
piece
structured,
should be described,
but
in the
observations
methods sections
are
of your
actually
research
true
reports
experiments
that you're looking
and then there
at
is
in
a
the
big
literature.
push for
in vivo or
if you
in
are
vitro,
talking about
so in
instruments,
body or
people can develop their
outside
own.
of the body
Sometimes
types of
researchers
biophysiologic
do this.
measures.
So under the self-reports category, there's the unstructured interviews.
Self-reports,
and this is, again, used in
semi-structured
qualitative
interviews are more
studies.
focused. They usually
Most
have
of the
a
structured
topics
methods are more on
guide.
the quantitative side.
This
I
slide is
will
just
say
giving
that
a
if you're
few
using a
differences
structured
of a survey and a questionnaire.
next several
There's
slides,
something I
Blake,
disagree
break
with
down the
on
scales
survey,
again
but,
and give us a
little bit better picture.
This is an example
So we'll take another
of
look.
Likert that you've seen. Here's three
This is an example
statements,
of a semantic
and then there's
differential
strongly
scale.
agree. And this one is how
This is
I
an
feel
example
about
of the
nursing
pain
research.
visual
You can
analog
mark
scale that your
next to-
text gives.
These are
I
also examples of
personally
visual
like the
analog scales, and you can see
faces
again
one
one
better,
line
but
measures exactly the
examples of
100
the Q
millimeters or
sorts
10 centimeters
in length.
give a stack of 50 to 100
Another
cards.
type of
ask them to
qualitative
sort them in
method
any
is
way.
unstructured
observations.
Structured
You're trying to answer who,
observations
where, what,
are
when,
used
how,
in
and
quantitative
why.
methods.
This
And
particular
this
slide
is actually
gives
where
an
they
example
count
of
behaviors,
different categories
and
of observations that
and
could be
so,
counted, such
looks
as
like we
hitting,
have
yelling,
some
screaming, talking.
misbehaved children here.
Other types of observations that are used in true experiments for quantitative studies.
Currently,
are
there
time
is a
sampling
big
and
push
event
for more
sampling.
biophysiologic measures in
Big
nursing.
thing is the
because
data that we
do a
collect
lot
is really
of
only